Welcome to Coaching Shorts. It's Neil here. In this video, we are exploring imposter syndrome. Now, the term has been around for a little while now. From what the research I could do, it came from work done by Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes in the 1970s. And according to some research, 70% of people will feel imposter syndrome at some point in their life. Having said that, in my experience, through a lot of coaching, exec coaching and life coaching, I would say the majority of people feel imposter syndrome at one point or another. Sometimes a lot of their life they spend feeling like an imposter. But what does it mean? Well, it's the persistent feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt or being exposed as a fraud. It's that feeling like you're at work and you kind of think you know what you're doing, but you're terrified somebody's going to come along and realize that you don't. However, that is despite evidence of competence and accomplishment. So despite the fact that you are doing a good job, and of course you know what you're doing, you're experienced, you're well trained, etc., but even so, you still think, do you know what, at some point somebody's going to realize I don't know my stuff. That's imposter syndrome. So let's look at a couple of steps that we can potentially use to start challenging this. So obviously one of the first things is to challenge your thoughts. Our thoughts are not necessarily, our reality, they're not necessarily fact. So there are some questions you can start asking. So, for example, if you've got a negative thought in there around imposter syndrome, so is there any evidence supporting this thought? Or is it just a thought? Am I assuming the worst without any proof? Because that's kind of the default way of thinking. And is there a more balanced, realistic way to view this situation? So, take that step back and think about, okay, is this real? Is this true? Or actually, am I just putting myself down? Another interesting way is actually to, almost have an achievement log. So, record key achievements that you're proud of. Record and keep copies of positive feedback that you get, particularly if it's, on text or emails. So when you are having one of those moments of doubt, you can go back and look at some of those achievements and that positive feedback. Another way is to really consider setting realistic goals. And what I mean by that is we can sometimes get caught in that perfectionist way of doing it. If I don't do it perfectly, then that proves I'm an imposter. It proves I don't know what I'm doing. Well, perfection isn't a reality. So it's not possible. So set realistic goals. And of course, one of the classics is talk to yourself like a friend. If your friend came to you talking about imposter syndrome, that they don't know what they're doing, what would you say to them? How supportive would you be? Well, talk to yourself like that. Talk to yourself as your own best friend. So none of these are, massively startling tips, but they're tips that you can use to potentially start challenging some of those imposter syndrome thoughts. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe to the channel, share it, and until next time, take care.